Happy New Year! We have done it. Navigated through the past 12 months to replace our calendars and look forward to a brand new year. Welcome also to the first podcast of 2024. Anita Says, a monthly overview of my thoughts on Indian dance around the world as I see it. I'm Anita Ratnam, and there's so much to talk about as I discuss the two dance conferences that have just concluded in Chennai, the Forgotten Art of Nattuvangam, and the huge dance calendar that is still ongoing, among other topics. The year 2024 is the Chinese Year of the Dragon. The United Nations has declared this year to be the year of camelids, which is a cluster of animals that include llamas, camels, alpacas, and others who are vital to the indigenous peoples and local communities. Well, that's for the information. Here now to the news. In 2023, some may have sailed through the year, others trudged, some soared, some crawled or limped. It does not matter. We've all reached the starting point of yet another brand new year. And 2024 is a leap year. What does it mean for us as a creative community? What can we do to make our lives and our immediate world safer, more harmonious, and more vibrant? What can we do for ourselves and our own emotional well-being? Coming to you from Chennai, I know what a roller coaster year it has been, and how strange the fluctuating moods of the final month were for my city and myself. A blustery cyclone, unstoppable rain, and devastating floods. Looking at the overfilled streets, hotels, restaurants, and auditoriums, I asked myself, did the cyclone Michong really hit Chennai with a torrential rainstorm and devastate southern Tamil Nadu last month? The smiling faces I see on the streets, shops, and sabhas seem almost surreal. Did I really sit up through the night of December 4th when the waters rose to dangerous levels around my house? As you're listening to this, thousands of citizens in the northern suburbs are still without power or clean water. A week after the cyclone, the annual Chennai dance season started, without missing a beat. Unlike the disaster of December 2015, this time there was no mention of the devastation that had affected musicians, dancers, and everyone in the arts. Many performers watched helplessly as instruments, costumes, newspaper cuttings, awards, and personal memorabilia were destroyed or damaged beyond repair. Nirmala Rajashekar carried her veena above her head while wading in waist-deep waters to reach a place of safety. Some sat on roofs and terraces of homes and buildings until they were rescued by the Navy and the Army. While the state machinery was slow in reacting, citizens rallied with exemplary courage and empathy. The crowds, what large crowds this year for the Music Dance Festival. Every single space has been filled with rapt audiences. Rasikas have thronged halls of every size. Beginning at 5 a.m. in the morning, the streets of Mylapore are still filled with music and dance. Elsewhere in North Chennai, Christmas carols and celebrations were sung by groups walking along the still water-logged roads. This year, there seems to be a fresh infusion of enthusiasm in the air. A significant number of younger audiences and performers have injected their artistry on and off the stage. Performances are starting on time, stages for dance have finally disappeared with a gaudy signage, and both Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and Krishnagana Sabha have matte black curtains and wings, making for a much cleaner visual frame. Every genre of the arts are attracting crowds. I watched a superb dance technology film on the hip-hop group Pixel at the Alliance Française, a Tamil political play about slavery in America and the violence in Gaza, as well as a Bharatanatyam performance on the same day. All were very well attended. Each part of the city has been celebrating with music shows, food, and fashion events. Yes, fashion. Imagine revered Carnatic musicians walking the ramp in a delightful change of pace. That is how the month kicked off, 3 days before the water catastrophe. Aruna Sairam, The grand dame of Carnatic music and the great Ghattam maestro Vikku Vinayakaram strode the catwalk with relaxed ease, along with the turbaned Anil Srinivasan and dance icon Padma Subramaniam. Ideated and presented by two Bharatanatyam dancers and event planners, Lakshmi and Saraswati, nieces and students of Padma Subramaniam, the bonhomie and sheer joy of the evening were palpable from the photographs and videos of the event. I was performing that very same evening on the shores of a blustery ocean. The setting was also a luxury hotel, as was the fashion event. There continues to be daily Carnatic music shows this season being held in the lobby of the GRT Hotel in T Nagar in the heart of the city. To have clients and hotel guests being greeted with the sounds of classical music as they enter and leave is a refreshing change to the soulless background music that is often heard in these spaces. The Taj Hotel in Bandra, Mumbai, always has a wonderful flautist in the lobby, which is a soothing sound to the frantic pace of the city. No matter what the younger generation of dancers and audiences may say about the seniors, each artist had a distinct style and a manner of performing that was unique. There was no cut-and-paste method. I'm referring to the times of Yamini Krishnamurthy, Padma Subramaniam, Sudharani Raghupati, Chitra Vishweshwaran and their seniors like Mrinalini Sarabhai, Shanta Rao and Indrani Rahman. The opinion also holds for my generation of colleagues. If you watch Malavika, Rama, Priyadarshini, Meenakshi, Leela, Valli, Geeta and Urmila, each has a distinct style of Bharatanatyam. Each has carved a trajectory of their own. I occupy that generation of performers and am proud to call them my Natya Toris, Tori meaning sister in Tamil. Each of us have not asked for but have been given the responsibility of large audiences and eager eyes and hearts, waiting to learn, to be inspired and guided. Now it is time for the next generation to dazzle and shine. They are now in their late 30s and early 40s. And do they have the courage to dare, risk, fail, fall, stumble, and rise like some of us have? They are certainly trying, and it's definitely happening. Aesthetics and intensity have changed. Bharatanatyam has undergone such a transformation, and the future looks exciting. Today, the goals have become truncated and more immediate, though, with too many suggestions, opinions, and interventions. The space to dream and dare has shrunk, with the preoccupation and challenges becoming more urgent. The social and political demands on dance are greater than ever. Some dancers are now introducing religious speakers and musicians to intervene and perhaps interfere with their own creative presentations, thus making performances more about faith rather than art. I see today's young stars dancing beautifully with growing followings. But I question, are they really enjoying their art? I see a lot of effort, but less ease. Restraint seems to have gone out of vogue. The idea of suggestion has disappeared against the showing. Does the very Western idea of exhaustion to reach honesty mantra apply to the Indian arts? Are we overthinking every movement and every moment? What I'm observing now is meticulously executed dance accompanied by a great deal of strain and angst on stage. Will the 35 to 45-year-olds burn out before they reach 50 or 55 with muscle and ligament injuries or sheer emotional and mental fatigue? Watching the intensity and ferocious energy of Maithili Prakash and looking at clips of Maven Ku's excellent performance, one can see that raising the pitch of the music, the voice, the dance tempo to a kind of a frenzied pace is what impacts today's audiences. Perhaps these influential dance makers are reacting to the chaos that exists in the world, realizing that audiences entering spaces with so many distractions need to be shocked out of their digital complacency and thrown into the tornado of movement and oral stimulation to be extracted from one state and flung into the other. You are listening to Anita Says, a monthly podcast on my personal views of Indian dance and its allied trends globally. I'm Anita Ratnam. The Chennai season has had two major cancellations. Alarmel Valli has withdrawn from her solo concert due to a viral illness, and rising star Dakshina Vaidyanathan has cited a severe muscle injury for her non-appearance this season. Also, the rise of a new strain of COVID is causing varieties of associated illnesses across generations. The 2023 season is now flowing into early January 2024 and has been a blur of color, dance, sound, and fury. Conversations, debates, arguments, discussions. There was all that and much more. I have watched more diversity in aesthetics on stage than ever before. Theme-based performances at the Dance for Dance Festival of Shruti Gopal, Parvati Menon, and Lakshmi Parthasarthi were all impressive in different ways. Each dancer is searching for newer pathways to express their inner creativity and experience perhaps a fuller measure of their talent and training. As a contrast to the Bharatanatyam overload, the measured grace of Neena Prasad's Mohiniyattam was a welcome contrast. Aditi Mangaldas shone with her class act of programming, pacing, arrangement, and costume aesthetic for herself and her orchestra. Of course, there was superb lighting. No announcements or extra frills, just a beautifully executed performance. The Natya Darshan seminar, convened by Roja Kannan, established the impressive technical standards of dancers born in other shows. The success of Lucrezia's performance of Nitya Kalyani, that Ragamalika Varnama have performed and loved, as well as the stellar showing of Ramli Ibrahim's student, Hareen Loganathan, were remarkable displays of excellent dancing. California-based Ramya Harishankar students were also noteworthy with their technique and skill. Ratnakumar students revealed an identity-based short dance called Choices that showed a glimpse of how today's generation is thinking about and expressing their inner conflicts through dance. Sonali Skandan shared her delightful bee story mentored by Maya Kulkarni at an informal terrace space. Jyotsna Vaidi appeared incandescent in her solo Abhilasha during the afternoon slot at Naradagana Sabha. Nirupama Vaidyanathan also performed at the same space her lovely solo about the river Kaveri. It is clear that in spite of long distances and the weekend-only classes, that NRI gurus, teachers and performers are working very hard on professional development. With the growing interest in dance history and its socio-political landscape, I hope that the coming generations will be able to create healthy spaces among peers for their artistic growth. The meeting of so many colleagues from around the world and the infectious bonhomie and camaraderie was heartwarming, especially to me, who's getting more and more cynical and weary of the world of arts and art making. Innumerable selfies, group hugs, sunny smiles made me realize what a gift it is just to be a dancer in these times. More than half a century on stage. Gratitude, just simply that. It's not just Chennai that's dripping with music and dance from every corner. Neighbouring states are also now part of the December season festival activities. Dancers can plan a circuit that includes performances in Karnataka and Kerala during the month of December. This is excellent news for audiences who all cannot manage to travel to my hometown for 2 or 3 weeks. With live streaming and so many visiting artists, the spirit of Chennai's Margari has not only caught fire but also spread further. In a recent opinion report, CNN's political reporter Fareed Zakaria touched upon the changing direction of American universities. Zakaria spoke of the hallowed Ivy League institutions becoming more geared towards social and political agendas rather than delivering quality education. Now one can get a bachelor's degree in DEI, equity and inclusion. In this mollycoddling, he says, of certain voices, he also spoke of the current trend of steering young academic minds towards certain subjects and not others. The shift is also being noticed in South Asian dance academics in several universities. DEI is the umbrella for alternate voices emerging in dance academia and dance writing. Amidst calls for disruption and dislocation of South Indian dance forms from their context and moorings, the reality on the ground is clear. Dance students just want to dance, learn, share their work, and shine in an increasingly competitive landscape. They come from various backgrounds and faiths and are drawn to the beauty and complexity of Indian dance styles. The current training systems perhaps do not allow time and space to develop critical thinking faculties, as it's mostly up to the individual dancer to probe, question and find ways to reconcile their practice with the socio-political history of Indian dance. For the majority of students, it is enough to spend a lifetime in learning, teaching, and being enriched by some systems of the artistic practice. Others may wish to engage in debates as doubts and resistance emerge. London-based Bharatanatyam artist Neena Rajarani expressed it so deftly at the Natyakala conference. "Do what your heart tells you," she says. She was diffusing a potentially tense situation when Muslim dancer Masoom Parmar shared his process of choreographing the Allaripu to the sounds of the Azan, a call to prayer. Bharatanatyam continues to be at the center of debate and discourse. As one musician expressed, "At least there is a discussion in the dance world. The world of Hindustani music is deafeningly silent." I repeat here what dance scholar Urmimala Sarkar said at an event during the pandemic. Debate, discuss, dialogue, disagree, but don't stop dancing. I move now to cinema, and you must be wondering why. I'll just get to the point. The current raging debate is about nepotism in Bollywood and the new film, The Archies. The dictionary defines the word as, quote, using one's power and influence to give unfair advantage in jobs to your family members. I have not yet seen the film, and I'm hesitant since I grew up with the antics and adventures of the quartet in Riverdale via the comic book series and don't want my early impressions to change. That the daughters of Shah Rukh Khan and Sridevi and the grandson of Amitabh Bachchan anchor the Archies has generated scores of contrasting opinions on social media. These star kids have received their dream breaks. However, can a famous last name guarantee success? If so, then Abhishek Bachchan and Isha Deol, Hema Malini's daughter, would have automatically become superstars. It is the alchemy of talent, timing, encouragement, luck, and the audience reaction that cements a career. Privilege can open a door, and it can prop it open for a while longer, but they can be quickly slammed shut too if the person does not demonstrate enduring talent, ability, discipline, and so much more. Finally, it is the box office or the audience that decides if they like an actor, musician, or dancer as individuals, separate from their famous last names. I come now to the world of stage and the live arts. Dakshina Vaidyanathan, Maithili Prakash, and Pratiksha Kashi are three daughters of successful dancers. They have each established credentials of their own as stellar artists, moving away from the shadows of their mothers. As has Kapila Venu, daughter of two giants, G. Venu and Nirmala Panikar. Growing up in an atmosphere of dance and music, it is automatically expected that they would have learned the art. They did. They are all enormously talented. But talent alone is not an automatic success mantra. The world is full of talented derelicts. There are too many other factors that decide and influence a performer's life and career path. A nurturing home environment is vital, but not everything. The four dancers I'm speaking of were perhaps nudged onto the stage by their family, but they themselves have stood the stern test of time and public opinion for over 10 to 20 years to emerge as shining torchbearers for their generation. Nepotism is not favoritism. Another aspect that many presenters, including myself, producers, funding agencies, and cultural philanthropists are accused of. Promoting family over merit still continues in the world of politics and business, where the individual can be shielded from the harsh light of public opinion. Not so much in the creative world. A famous last name can get you the first meeting, but then the ball drops onto your court. You have to prove yourself on the canvas, the page, or the stage. When Malavika Saruke acknowledged the maker of her ankle bells, Sri Gangadharan, on stage, I realized the importance of so many seen and unseen individuals who contribute to a performance. Like the fast disappearing art of Nattuvangam. This season, I watched two excellent artists at work, sitting on the dais, stage right, and executing jatis and tirmanams with crisp and faultless ease. Neela Sukanya, a senior conductor, that's the closest term for the Nattuvangam artist, and Sai Kripa Prasanna. Neela anchors Malavika's performances, and Sai was seen conducting the solo and group works of Urmila Satyanarayana. Calm and articulate, their voice modulations and skill in using the cymbals were very interesting to watch, especially these days when the mridangist recites the jatis and some junior dancer hits the cymbals monotonously without inflection and variety. Here I must mention my own conductor rehearsal director L. Subhashri. Her development in Nattuvangam and voice modulation has been exemplary. Listening to her shifting tones during Nachiyar Next was like a voice in performance itself. Padma Subramaniam took time to compliment her after the show. An interesting fact that late Guru Tanjavur Bavu Pillai Herambanathan shared with me may not be known to younger dancers. Hereditary gurus composed and guarded their own jati compositions. When Balasaraswati's Guru Kandappa Pillai passed away, she approached Pandanallur Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai. He told her that she would have to learn and perform only his jatis, since he would not conduct her performance with Kandappa Pillai's rhythm patterns. Bala refused, and that association did not go any further. If we listen to the mnemonic arrangements and rhythm patterns with the cholle, the utterance, one can hear the differences between the Jati Tirmanam styles of Kittappa Pillai, Ramaya Pillai, Dandayadapani Pillai, Yelappa Pillai and other traditional gurus. Not just the way they were uttered, but the skill of their individual styles of Nattuvangam as well. A fascinating study that I wish some dance conference or lecture series would consider including. Rama has concluded her third turn as convener of the prestigious Natya Kala conference at the Sri Krishna Gana Sabha. She has ideated and curated 3 very different avatars of the annual event. The gathering of international dancers, writers and rasikas for all 3 editions was a testament to Rama Vaidyanathan's global stature. This year's edition was the most varied and challenging. Transcend Dance. When the title was announced, there was a flurry of opinions. How can a classical dancer attempt to understand the complexities of the differently abled? Has the conference suddenly become woke and left-leaning? What does the title even mean? The DEI label could have been placed easily on the conference as a subtitle. Transcend Dance checked almost every box of requirements for all 3 categories without any intention on Rama's part. The unusual and never-before-heard voices of transgender dancers, led by Bharatanatyam teacher Shanmugasundaram, was just one case in point. Dance as psychotherapy for abused women, Sohini Chakraborty's Sampurnata pedagogy, and elders affected by the debilitating Parkinson's disease being helped by Kathak artist Rishikesh Pawar were 3 sessions that were incredibly moving. Also featured were Ambika Kameshwar in her groundbreaking methods for differently abled children and Sangeeta Ishwaran's Katradi method for community development. Responding to the disastrous conflict in Gaza, scholar Ananya Chatterjee's raw and visceral social justice choreography was an eye-opener for many. From Manipur came Bimbavati Devi's searing Footprints in Blood, showing the heart-stopping stories of women warriors. California Wildfires by Maithili Kumar, The Meditations of the Whirling Darvish by Zia Nath, Rasavayu, Breath in Kudiyatam, Kapila Venu and G. Venu, and New Writings on Dance, a panel led by Arshia Sethi. Back-to-back sessions that kept the mind turning and churning. The 5-day event that started at 9:30 continued up to 4 p.m. daily, offering so many career possibilities for Gen Z. The juxtaposition of celebrated performers alongside the less familiar areas of DMT, dance movement therapy, environment and social issues, made for an exciting conference. I tried to stay through the multiple sessions, but the variety and contrasts were often very dizzying. So several coffees became my go-to beverage. I did enjoy wearing my mother's soft silk saris as the conference dress code was vintage. Rama was wearing her late mother-in-law Saroja Vaidyanathan's precious silks, some 50 years old. I pause to send our condolences to Hema Rajagopalan, who lost her husband, and Lata Pada, whose mother passed away, both in December. Both women were scheduled to speak during the Chennai season. January is filled with so much more dance, and the literature festival season begins. We can watch Vidya Tirunarayanan, a dancer turned potter, performing Lives of Clay, Apsara Arts and Arasi Rice, an intercultural presentation with Balinese dancers, and of course, the much-awaited Music Academy Dance Festival with many surprises in store. And it doesn't stop there. Unfolding before us is an entire month of very talented dancers who will appear in the Pongal Dance edition on several stages. This season alone has registered 2,000 dance performances alone. Scholar Ashish Kokar remarked, "In which other city can you find both social A-listers and ordinary rasikas lined up shoulder to shoulder and waiting patiently to enter a hall?" So, what are the resolutions you wish to make that you can actually keep? Take time out for yourself, cut out one toxic friend and habit, add one healthy lifestyle choice, take charge of your finances and try to understand money better, spend some time in nature, prioritize your emotional well-being as a dancer and a creative soul. Whatever your resolutions may be, and for however long you're able to stay with them, here's wishing each and every one of you joy and fulfillment in the months ahead. There is so much sadness in the world and much that we cannot turn away from. Dance renews us each day, and for that precious gift, we must be forever grateful. Thank you for your time and support. Nartaki enters its 25th year online, and we value your loyalty and attention. What started out as a phone book in 1992 has crossed over from one century to the next. The future is brimming with possibilities and transitions. We hope to be right by your side as you change, grow, and soar. Happy 2024, everyone. Do continue to stay connected with us online, on social media, and our podcasts. With much love and gratitude, this is Anita Ratnam signing off.